Hello and welcome back to Blow Up the Team. Kind of forgot how to intro this because it's been 2
It's
weeks.
been a hot second.
Yeah, Matt and I have a bad tendency of just getting really fucking busy.
And it hasn't changed. Well, because classes and friends and COVID and COVID.
COVID.
So,
Anyways, we got a lot to talk about today. Got a lot of basketball stuff going on. I'm staring at a paused highlights video because I'm really smart. Anyways, make sure to check out the link to this video down in the description below. Sai is here. Say hi.
Yo, what's up, guys? It's me again.
He's back.
I'm gonna be probably appearing for all these basketball videos until playoffs are over. So
Yeah, it's nice to have varied opinions. We'll talk about the Celtics first, since they're on my screen right now. No one wanted to trust the Celtics.
by the way, varied opinions. That not varied opinions.
Well,
People who watch
I
the
mean,
sport.
yeah,
There's
well,
that,
we
there's
we
that,
predicted
there's
that the Raptors would win by a very close margin, but
I kept saying, don't sleep on the Celtics. I kept saying, I said it.
I mean, like we weren't sleeping on it too much. Like we could have gone either way. It's just
I had faith,
damn,
man. I had
Celtics,
faith in this Celtics group.
Yeah, round of applause to Celtics.
Round of applause to Celtics. OG Anunoby tried his best, but they didn't have the closer, which is what I was saying they needed.
It's Kyle Lowry.
Here we go.
Kyle Lowry is a closer, man.
At least the Raptors didn't blow a 3-1, but we'll get to that later.
Speaking of people we didn't give enough respect to.
Yeah, the Miami Heat, man.
Yeah, okay. Well, another round of applause for the Miami Heat. They did well too.
They are playing their asses off. They made the Bucks look bad. They made the Bucks look extremely bad. I'm not going to lie.
It's what I wanted to say in the first two videos, but couldn't say because I didn't want to draw the ire. But this is 2 playoffs back in a row, back to back, where Giannis going into it's like Giannis, he's the best player in the league. He's dominating everyone. It's like, yeah, he is. Then he gets to the playoffs and it's like.
The problem is that he hasn't. I've been saying it. I agree with Matt. I've been saying it. He needs to develop a jumper if he wants to be able to really win in this league, because it's too easy for them to just wall off the paint against him, and then he's relying on everybody else on his team to be able to shoot. If he wants to takes that next step, he wants to be able to win in the playoffs, he's got to get at least a halfway reliable jumper. If he gets that, it's over. If he gets that, you can't guard him.
It's just that I feel like every time he's forcing his way to get a play. You know what I'm saying? He's trying to go into the paint every time, forcing his way. And then that's why he got injured in those last couple of games, right? Like, he twisted his ankle once, I think, or twice in one game, and then once in the next game, I believe.
It's just, there's just, I love Chris Middleton. He's a great player. He's got a lot of talent. I don't think he's good enough to be the leading option on a playoff basketball team. He played well. Don't get me wrong. He played his ass off when Giannis went down and led them to that victory. Their only victory of the series, if I'm not mistaken. But Giannis either needs to develop a jump shot or he needs to go somewhere else where he's not the only guy. Because Chris Middleton, whether it's Giannis being just trying to take over the game and trying too hard, or Chris Middleton not being able to do it, there was just times when the offense just completely stalled out when Giannis couldn't get anything going.
Yeah. No, I agree. It's just I don't know what's gonna happen after this year.
Well, and so Giannis reportedly requested a trade.
He
did.
What I
heard. Am I wrong about that? I thought I saw that.
There are rumors about he's gonna sign a Supermax, but then I always think back to what Anthony Davis said, and I always think about what Kawhi said, and what LaMarcus Aldridge has said. Like, all these players that say, I'm gonna commit to this team long term. I'm gonna be like LaMarcus Aldridge. I'm gonna be a Blazers for life. Like, next thing you know, they turn their back on the team and go to another place.
Now, I do think if he leaves, he's going to go somewhere else he feels is ready to compete. He doesn't strike me as the type of guy who's going to go somewhere just because it's a big city. So I think, I've heard rumors about the Heat. I think that could make a lot of sense, but if it would have to be a sign and trade.
Who would they trade?
It would have to be a sign and trade, and then I have no idea. I would have to look at the salary cap to see what fits. I would have to look at a lot of things.
They would have to get rid of a lot of people.
For sure. But the Bucks would also have to give out a lot of people to keep him. That's the thing. Like they have a lot of contracts up this year.
If they sign a supermax, it's just gonna be an actual detriment to the team. Like in terms of talent, it's just gonna be him, and then who else is gonna be left?
Because the team is already not winning in the playoffs.
Exactly.
With him not on a supermax, you give him the supermax, and then you suddenly have less room to work with. Like that ain't it.
If you gotta surround him with a great 3-point shooting team. Actually, one of the teams that he was rumored to be wanting a trade to, whether this was just some meme pages memeing or what, was the Warriors. And if he goes that, first of all, I will be very mad.
No, I don't know why people are saying the Warriors. Like, there's no way.
I don't either. But what I will say is the following: he would fit extremely well on a great 3-point shooting team.
Yes,
because he sucks 3 guys into just him alone sucks at least 2 guys into the paint to stop him. Kick out to a 40% shooter from 3, and all of a sudden you've got a lethal combo because you can't wall him off because you can't leave a great shooter open. And that's what the Bucks were lacking. They were lacking, in my opinion, consistent 3-point shooting threats.
Yeah, man. This is gonna be a very tough offseason. Like, I know for a fact.
It's gonna be interesting.
Yeah.
There are. I look at there's 2 teams that are not very happy with how they performed with all the expectations. So
do we just talk about it? Do we get there? Now, you know what? Let's praise the Nuggets first, and then we can go in on the other team.
Oh no! Listen, the Nuggets played their asses off. They straight up. It would have been so easy. I swear to God, if one player on that team in any of those 3 games. In either of those 2 comebacks, I should say, slightly, gave up, they lose. But everyone on that fucking team said, "Fuck this, fuck you, Kawhi. This is not your year again."
Well, they last time we talked, I think they were down 3-1 against the Nuggets, against the Jazz, isn't it? I think that's the last time we talked. I don't think
they got 3-1.
Yeah, this is their second 3-1 comeback. Or 3-2 maybe.
They won 3-2.
3-2, yeah, but I mean, this is their second 3-1 comeback of the season already. 2 rounds in, second 3-1 comeback. So, I mean, this is a very resilient group. Jamal Murray heard that his girlfriend was allowed in the bubble and just proceeded to put up 150 points in 3 games.
Bro.
It's my favorite meme. I'm sorry, I gotta keep bringing it up. It's my favorite meme.
Dude, what a legend. That man is... Look at that. Oh, man, no, that was the wrong highlight in my bad.
Yeah, definitely the wrong highlight. That's a block of Fred VanVleet, isn't it?
Oh, no. That was the wrong highlight. I was thinking of one at the end of 4th quarter. It was Game 7.
I know what you're thinking of. I'm sure it'll come up in a second. But I'm just going to say, though, I didn't trust the Raptors, and I think that they've got questions, too. If we're going to talk about the offseason, let's bring it up now. Where do they go from here? Is Siakam that guy? I don't think he's proven that he's that guy.
Okay, but you also have to remember this is a team that going into the season wasn't supposed to perform this well. So,
that's true, but they've also got
the team with such
questions.
low expectations, and then getting to the point where they are. Don't get me wrong; it's a disappointing end. You don't want to see it end the way it did, but
Oh no, it's definitely a successful season. Definitely a successful season. It's just where does the roster's in a weird spot? They've got some pieces that are really young and up and coming, and then they've got other guys like Marcus Gasol comes to mind, Serge Ibaka comes to mind, Kyle Lowry comes to mind that are older, and so it's what's the next step? Where do they go from here? That's my question, and I think that it's gonna be a kind of a work in progress there because you've got to wait and you've got to see, is Siakam that guy? Is Siakam ready to take that next step and lead the team? Because I think Kyle Lowry, as great as he is, I don't think he's especially at
age, man.
As old as he is, he's unlikely, in my opinion, to take another huge step forward. And I don't think that the way he stands right now, he can be a number 1 option for a championship contending team.
Yeah, maybe in the next year or so, they could be a rebuilding. It's a possibility given the fact that how the contracts are set up, and you mentioned it before, age, Marcus Gasol, Serge Ibaka, Kyle Lowry. It could very well be in that that the Raptors could be going towards that route, but it's something that we gotta wait and see.
Yeah, absolutely.
Siakam has to step up.
I think that I don't think they're likely to go into full rebuild. I still think that they have a lot of young, solid pieces on that team, but they've got a lot of questions that they've got to answer on what they're planning long term.
I agree with that.
But and getting back out west, the Nuggets, very very resilient team. They didn't give up against the Jazz when they maybe a lot of teams would. Same thing against the Clippers. But let's just talk about it. I said it in our last check-in video. I said the Clippers are a great basketball team. They cannot continue to mess around in this next round. Whether it was the Nuggets or the Jazz that got through, you could not continue to try to turn it on and turn it off periodically. And they continued to play around, and they allowed the Nuggets to get back into that series. And then they just got completely stiff in Game 7 because they knew all the pressure that was on them. Playoff P, more like Pandemic P, came back. I told you if he came back, it was over. Him and Kawhi combined for 0 points in the fourth quarter in Game 7. That cannot happen.
Man, here's the thing. Like, the whole entire series, no matter if, like, they won 3 games, right? I still couldn't see any on-court chemistry with any of these players. They're playing well individually. Like, Kawhi, great. You're scoring. Playoff P, scoring. Great. Pat Bev, Montrezl Harrell, you're doing your job. But as a team, it wasn't there. Like, they were lackluster in terms of, like, communication and behaving as like a whole team. Like, I didn't see any effort in terms of that part. And so you have big names on there, Doc Rivers, but clearly you haven't really done a good job trying to manage that team. And look what happened.
And I do want to say this as well, by the way. Skip Bayless needs to check himself. Absolutely. He's talking about Lou Williams is the closer for this team. I'm sorry, that's inexcusable.
That is inexcusable.
Oh. Paul George was was he like top 5 for MVP voting last year? And then Kawhi Leonard Yeah, no, I'm saying Paul George was top 5 of
Paul George,
Paul George was top 5 MVP voting, and then you've got Kawhi Leonard, who was a reigning finals MVP, and you're telling me that Lou Will is supposed to be the closer for this basketball team? I'm sorry, I don't buy it. I understand the fact he didn't play well, his head wasn't in it, he didn't want to be in the bubble, that's fine, that's on him. If you're Kawhi Leonard and you're Paul George, you should absolutely spend all summer in the gym, because the way that you ended this season is unacceptable. You cannot go 1 of 11 in the second half. Cannot go 1 of 7 in the second half, or whatever it was. 0 of 7 in the fourth quarter. It can't happen.
Is like, Kawhi is pushing himself to be like a player that he shouldn't be. You know, he's like a defensive stopper. He's supposed to be this sort of player that will put up. He's supposed to be the claw. And in this series, especially in the playoffs, we didn't see him be the claw. There wasn't really that much defense being played. He was trying to be this whole entire player for the team, but it ended up not working. Like, he needs another person to score. Playoff P.
That's where Paul George is supposed to come in, but Paul George just decided to not show up to the fucking bubble for some reason.
Paul George is like shit.
He did not show up to the bubble.
Yes, exactly.
He didn't.
He
may have physically been there, but he was not in the bubble. Changed my mind.
No, we talked about teams slowing down in the bubble, not looking like they were there, fully. But we said they'll wait. They're gonna wake up when they get to playoffs. Well, they didn't.
They're the only team that didn't, though. To be fair, they were one of the only teams that didn't.
What was that? Sorry,
I said Cy was saying load management, and he's right, and we'll get to that in a second. But to be fair, the Clippers were the only team that didn't wake up, and it showed. They got taken way too far by a Dallas Mavericks team that was missing Kristaps for multiple games, and Doncic was playing on a bum ankle, and then they just allowed this Nuggets team to hang around and keep chipping away, and they kept trying to turn it off, turn it on, and you cannot do that in the NBA playoffs. Now, load management.
It's a very finicky topic, man.
Yeah,
it's a very finicky topic.
I was watching a video today, and I can't remember. It was something I think from ESPN. Brandon Marshall was on the show for some reason. Wide receiver for the Bears and the Giants, and the Jets, I think. And he was talking about all these things about it. there was somebody else on that panel who was talking about how, it hurts your chemistry. Because everybody else is supposed to be all in, you're supposed to be going for the chip, and you're the star, the leader of this team, the guy that's getting paid all that money, who came in and made a big stink, demanding the trade for Paul George, and then both of you are not going to show up. And then if we're talking about load management, yeah, it's mainly Kawhi, but like I can definitely see how that would mess with a team's chemistry, definitely. And
yeah, because they're getting preferential treatment, man.
If you saw what Paul George said after the game, he was talking about how we didn't have enough time to develop chemistry. This was never a win or a.
Why.
Well, first of all, I hate how he said that this was never a championship or bust season. I hate that. You should always have the mentality.
Man, that's so cap.
Oh my god.
Get the fuck out of here.
First of all, it's cap, and second of all, it's not the right mentality to have. You should always have the mentality that I am here to win, and so I'm going to win. Especially when you put together a team of that caliber, that's that high profile, like most of the people would agree, we're the championship favorites for multiple points throughout this season. I'm sorry, you cannot sit here and tell me it wasn't a championship or bust season. It's just simply not the right mentality to have.
They don't need to go into a gym. I feel like they will. That's fine. Like, just work on being closer with your team. Like on court and off court. That's all that matters right now. Obviously, you're gonna be making changes to the team later on, but that's your main priority after this. Focusing on rebuilding those relationships that you've lost because of, load management. God, man.
Yeah, I don't know.
PG.
Paul George, all three of them, and I say three because I'm including Doc Rivers in this. All three of them better do some serious work in the offseason. I don't know if Doc Rivers is going to be brought back as the coach again. I think he deserves another chance at it, but I could also definitely see if you're a Clippers fan or Clippers front office.
I don't know about that. I don't know if he needs another chance because he's tried with the Clippers already.
He has, but this was not the same Clippers team. He made that Clippers team that shouldn't have been anything. Really show up and compete last season. And then this season, he had a rough go of it, but he's managing a lot of different, personality things, a lot of things that are going on. I would like to see him get another shot at it, but that is just personal opinion. Either way, if he is, whoever the coach is, I'm assuming it's going to be Doc Rivers, Kawhi Leonard, and Paul George, you all better do your homework this offseason, because if you come back next year and you fall short of the conference finals again, they will be calling for your heads. Wherever the Clippers fans are, they will be calling for your heads.
Yeah. No, I agree with that.
Anyways, we've ranted about the Clippers enough. Let's just talk about the other Los Angeles team.
Hey, they're doing really well. They're doing super well.
I am so tired. Everybody says the whatever team LeBron is on, this year it's the Lakers. They lose game 1 of the series. Everybody's just like, oh, it's over. They looked so bad. This, that, and the other thing.
Dude, it's Charles Barkley. Charles Barkley does that, man.
Fucking Paul Pierce. He can't be the GOAT. He lost the round 1 game. Like, Jesus Christ.
LeBron lives rent-free in that man's head, bro. I'm sorry. Absolutely rent-free.
Yeah,
and I thought,
exactly.
okay, maybe this is... I went and looked at, some of the other shit he said, literally just non-stop.
Yeah, no, but LeBron is rent-free in his head. I'm convinced. Everything somehow circles back to LeBron because he realizes he will just simply never be as good as LeBron. So he wants to get his slander in as long as he can.
Exactly. I completely agree with that.
But
I mean, they're ignoring the haters. They're ignoring the haters, and I mean, looking at the playoff record right now, I think we did an okay job with that series. I think we predicted that well.
Just don't look at the other 3 series.
Yeah, just don't ignore the rest of this.
Okay, I'll ignore it. Yeah, ignore that. But
to be fair, no one saw the Nuggets coming. And this one, I said the Celtics, but I just didn't feel like arguing about it, so I allowed the Raptors. This was just a travesty.
Yeah. So
how about this? Let's go from where we are now in it. So I have this saved, so we can remember our mistakes, but let's just go from where our Final Four teams are right now. Right, and let's go from here. because I think this is relevant. Let's talk about these matchups for a second. We've recapped, I think, enough now. We don't need to really go too much into Lakers winning in 5 games after losing game 1. People need to learn that game 1 LeBron is a real thing, and then we can just move on now. The only thing I do want to say is that whole Lakers team played extremely well. I don't remember if it was game 2 or game 3 of that Rocket series.
Game 3.
LeBron just looked angry from the start. And that is not a man that you want to see angry if you're a Rockets fan. Let's just say that.
LeBron's been playing angry since literally game 1 of round 1.
No,
Yeah,
game two.
I wouldn't agree with that. I think initially they're well rested. They're just casually playing, and then they lose, and they're like, oh shoot.
Yeah, no, it happens every series. LeBron, they'll lose game 1. I said it after they won the Trailblazers series in 5 games. I said they legit lost game. They just looked mildly annoyed that they lost game 1. They legitimately just look annoyed that they lost the game. So.
But then they stepped it up. They've always after that they always answer. You can depend on that team, unlike some other teams.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right? Yeah.
But
you can depend on those players, man.
You were right. It is game 3. Game 3, LeBron just looked angry. And if LeBron is going to be taking 23 shots and shooting better than 50%, the Lakers aren't going to lose a lot of games. So they're not going to lose a lot of games. Now, it helped that, the Rockets shot 40% from 3 this game as well. So it's not even like they played that poorly. It's just they just were outmatched. And the size, I think, finally showed a little bit. The Lakers did go a little bit smaller to try to match their size. But they still dominated the boards for the most part. And I think that was a huge difference. But anyways.
Because of AD. This is because of AD. Because, AD is, a very versatile player.
I do think they found something in that lineup, by the way, where they run Markieff Morris at the 5, Anthony Davis at the 4, LeBron at the 3. I do think that they found something in that lineup.
But do you think that they can match up with? We'll go into later about the Nuggets matchup, but
we could talk about that now. Let's just start with it because we want to talk about that anyway.
Sure.
I do think that it matches up okay. I'm not gonna lie to you, because if you look at it, right?
Okay.
You need to have just pure athletes on the floor. You want to defend that Jokic Murray pick and roll. You gotta have athletes on the floor. I think that's probably their most athletic lineup in terms of being able to guard that pick and roll, because you can switch that and be okay. I'm not obviously if Markieff Morris gets switched onto Jamal Murray, that's not ideal, but it's better than Dwight Howard getting switched on him.
Oh, by the way, Jokic during that last game, 21 rebounds.
Yeah,
and he had
triple-double, mean triple-double.
Embarrassed Clippers, embarrassed.
Holy shit! The guy, I don't know. I obviously don't watch a lot of I don't watch nearly as much basketball as I do baseball. Am I going crazy to think that that's an insane amount of rebounds?
No, that is an insane amount of rebounds.
Okay. I've seen triple-double lines, obviously. I've never seen a triple-double line like that.
Man, his full stat line is 16 points, 22 rebounds, 13 assists.
From a center. Man. A center had 13 assists.
Yeah. It's insane. Man can do it all. It's definitely something that now that I think about it, this team has been 2 teams down 3-1. I think the Lakers should take this seriously, as they show with every matchup, but this one especially.
You definitely have to take it seriously, but
it's not a walk in the park, man.
It's not. They are a very sound defensive team, though, and I think that in terms of matchups, I think that they match up okay against this team. They have a lot of just athletic guys all over the place that can switch, and I think that's going to be important because they love to run that Jokic Murray pick and roll. That's their go-to, and they've got some great wing defenders, which I think are going to be huge. I think Danny Green's got to make sure that he steps up. He's got to play sound defense, along with a lot of those other wings. But I think that the key is going to be how do the bigs do if they're forced to switch, and that's why I like that kind of more athletic, smaller lineup with Markieff Morris running the 5, because he's not.
Initially, they're not going to run that. I know for a fact that they're not going to run that initially.
They're not going to, but I wouldn't be surprised if you see it at some point.
They might. They might. I have faith in that.
Because in my opinion, right, you're better off with someone like a Markieff Morris getting switched out on that than you are with as good as Dwight Howard is. I just don't trust him on the wing against Jamal Murray. I just don't. And I mean, JaVale McGee has shown flashes of being able to stick with them, but I don't really trust him either. But I think, especially if you're talking about like potentially speaking, like if you've even pushed like if you run LeBron at the 4 and AD at the 5, right, and you're talking about a pick and roll where Anthony Davis is the guy that's going to be involved. I don't hate that. You know what I mean? I just think that it's going to be hard against that kind of offense where they're going to be running that pick and roll all the time. I think it's going to be another series where it's hard for them to get Dwight and JaVale like some serious playing time because you just don't want them. You don't want them getting switched on Jamal Murray. It can't happen.
Yeah. No, I agree with that. It's just like a matter of like what game one's gonna look like. I don't know at this point because like clearly after every game one with the Lakers is just like, okay, like you gotta take a step back, think about what you need to do, and then come out completely strong. So that's gonna be the series. I'm gonna call a prediction right now. I want to say Lakers in 6.
I don't disagree with Lakers in 6, and here's the difference is I think the Lakers have shown that they're a more cohesive unit than the Clippers were, and you cannot give LeBron and AD a 3-1 lead. You can't.
Yeah. No, you can't.
Either one of them are capable of just putting the team on their back and single-handedly carrying the team to a win, and unlike pandemic
LeBron and AD are the player that Kawhi and Paul George are not.
Exactly.
Actually, I like Paul George. Paul George used to be that player. Kawhi is not the player that can, is not like he's obviously one of the best players in the league, like easily, but he is not LeBron James or Anthony Davis when it comes like he's not like he just showed that this last series.
Offensively, he's just not as big of a threat as LeBron is. He's just simply not. And the numbers would back it up.
LeBron's a versatile man. He's just a point guard.
LeBron is just a fucking problem.
Score. Yeah.
You can't put a small guy on him because he will just run through him. You can't put a big man on him because he will just absolutely embarrass him. You can't double him because he's got insane court vision.
Don't forget about AD, man. AD, bro. Like, the good thing about the team is like they don't rely so much on those two people. Like, I mean, yeah, you can take them both out and then the team will kind of struggle. But, like, they allow, like, or at least LeBron does, they allow the other players to actually like thrive and do their role.
I am gonna highlight something that you said. You said at least LeBron does, and I want to talk about Anthony Davis for a second. Even in these past two series when they've looked good, I have to point something out, and I said it when we were first gearing up for the playoffs, and I'm going to say it again. When the Lakers run the lineup where Anthony Davis is in and LeBron is not in, they get caught lacking too many times where they get the ball to Anthony Davis in the post, and then he gets trapped on a double team, and then it's hit or miss. Which Anthony Davis do you have that day? Do you have the guy who's willing to put the ball on the floor and take it to the rack, or do you have the guy that's going to settle for a tough contested shot? Or do you have the even rarer version of the guy who finds the open man? Because he's the wild card to me. He's the second option on this team. He needs to be the second option on this team, but he needs to be able to play effectively even when he gets doubled, because he is going to get doubled in those situations. And I think that
he's the wild card. You're saying he's the wild card?
Because he's not the only wild card on the team, but in those situations when he's the guy on the floor, yeah, I'm gonna say he is, because there are too many times, and he's done it better in the playoffs, and he needs to continue to do it. There was too many times when he gets caught in the post on a double team and just looks like he doesn't know what to do with the basketball.
I honestly think that I would say probably Kuzma, I want to say, is the wild card here. Because like he needs to show up like as a third person up there. Like Anthony Davis can be scoring like 10 points, 15 points, right? But then you need to have someone who can be open and pop up for 3 or a drive and then shoot for a layup. Like Kyle Kuzma has to be that guy.
I don't think
who's
Kyle
able to
Kuzma
score.
is your 3-point shooter, man. He's only shooting.
He's
shooting
not a
less than 30.
shooter.
He's shooting less than 33% for the playoffs.
That is true, but like, who else, man? Who else is gonna be out there for you?
I mean, this
Alex
is a
Caruso?
this is a team. This is a team of 3-point shooters. Let's not forget that. There's a
They're
reason
not-
they went
dude,
out and
as
they
a
got Danny
team,
Green.
They're not, dude. As a team, I don't know if they're that strong as like.
I'm not saying they're
know,
great 3-point shooters, but they have guys that are willing to put it up. If you look at somebody
Okay.
like Deion Waiters is willing to just put the ball up at whatever point, but Danny Green I think is going to be huge for that. You want to talk about getting open for 3? That's what Danny Green is there for. He's there for 3 and D.
Yeah, that's true. That is true.
That is literally the reason why they went out and they got Danny Green, was so that he could spot up for 3 when they needed him to. He's shooting just under 39% from 3 this postseason, and he's there to D up when they on the perimeter. That's what he's there for.
What do you think about Rajon Rondo, man? I don't know if I like the fit.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah,
He
I
has
don't
shown
know.
he has shown some moments when he could get locked in from beyond the arc, and he's been shown some moments when he just looks completely lost. But to be fair to him, this postseason from 3, he's shooting over 40% in his 5
He's a lot better, right?
He's shooting 44.4% from 3 this postseason. Now he's taking, he's taking 3.5 a game, so it's not like he's not taking them. Do I trust it long term? I don't know. He did it last year too. He shot over 40% in his 9 games last year on the Pelicans. So is it? Can we really say that this is not a trend for him?
Nah. I mean, the thing is, just like, he's on a better team now. He's got a lot more motivation to perform better. I think he'll do a good supporting role on this team. Nothing too crazy. Like, you'll see like a few sparks here and there. But yeah, like you said before, it's just like mainly LeBron passing the ball, then AD primarily scoring.
Yeah, Caruso needs to get his head out of his ass with his shooting as well.
Caruso.
So does Quinn Cook.
What the fuck you talking about Caruso for? I'll go to bat.
Caruso is shooting 28% from 3 this postseason, man. 28%.
He's got a point.
When he's taking 40 shots a game, it just happened. There were a lot.
He's taking 3.2. He is taking 5.6 shots per game, 3.2 threes, and he's shooting 28% from 3.
Quinn Cook didn't play in the series.
I'm just kidding. I'm just talking about.
Yeah, no, but I want them to play him. I genuinely do. But
yeah, I don't know. Yeah, we can't comment on that though.
I hope that they do. I hope they get some Quinn Cook some playing time. That's where I was going with that. I actually think that he's helped spread the floor a lot better. Yeah,
but I also agree. Don't shit on my boy Alex Caruso.
No, I love Caruso, and he's a great spark off the bench. He locks up defensively. He can attack the rim. If he becomes if he can get hot, not even consistent, if he can just get hot from 3 for a couple of games. I'm just talking about floor spacing, man. That's what that's going to be huge for them coming down the stretch. How can their shooters shoot? Because, listen, you can only take so much away from LeBron. You can only take so much away from AD, right? Those guys are going to get their buckets. I know I said AD's a wild card, and I do think that there are some moments when, depending on what you get from him, can make or break games. But, let's just call it what it is. You know that those 2 guys are going to find a way to produce. They're too good not to. It's a matter of how can you defend everybody else around them. And
that's true.
It becomes a lot harder to defend somebody like LeBron when his shooters are shooting well. With as good as he is passing the basketball, when his shooters are shooting well, it's a dangerous basketball team.
All right.
Kentavious Caldwell-Pope is shooting over 40%. He needs to continue that.
Yeah. They just need to be, at least my opinion, you can shoot the threes and all that, but you gotta focus on defense, stopping all these players, especially Jokic. Clearly, the double team, what the Clippers have done.
I actually feel like
double teaming Jokic.
I feel like if they stick Anthony Davis on him, I think that would be a good matchup. Honestly.
It could. I prefer JaVale on him.
I would definitely prefer Anthony Davis on him.
Really?
Personally.
Okay.
I just think
it's preference. We'll see.
It's definitely preference. I think that Anthony Davis is a little bit I want to say I just think he just is an overall I think JaVale McGee and him both, like, they're the twin towers inside. Let's just call it what it is. They both can clamp up and make it hell for you trying to drive the lane. But I think defensively, I'm not gonna comment because I haven't watched enough comparison between to really compare JaVale McGee and Anthony Davis. But what I will say is JaVale McGee, when you have lineups with JaVale McGee on the floor, the offense looks very different. But if you can get him off the floor and run that smaller lineup, Markieff Morris is shooting 40% from 3. We're talking about floor spacing. When your center is shooting 40% from 3 for the postseason,
yeah,
that doesn't
I would
stop.
expect some mix. I'll expect some mix of like a small ball lineup, and then
I am curious
Jokic-
what
yeah.
Anthony Davis is shooting from 3 this season, actually, this postseason. I'm only, by the way, all these
Not
stats,
good.
if I haven't said it, they're only from the postseason. I'm not looking at the regular season because regular season is ancient history at this point.
No, dude, they're not. I don't know if he's shooting well from
39% this postseason.
Oh, okay.
But he's only taking 2.3 a game. That's the complaint that I've heard a lot, is that he's not taking enough of them.
He's just taking mid range. I mean, I'm okay with that. Like, if he can make more mid ranges.
I mean, listen,
By
man,
all means,
his
take
field
it.
goal percentage is 58.5%.
Yeah.
You can't.
Like,
You
I'd
can't
rather
complain
have
about that.
that.
Can't complain about that.
Yeah.
But I think we've beaten this into the ground. You can clearly see where Lakers stands. Let's at least take a look at the Nuggets before we get accused of too much bias here.
All right. So wait. First, get rid of the Bucks/Raptors because
Oh yeah, we'll just
That-
we'll delete that.
that's a irritating
That's
me
a
for
tragedy,
while.
isn't it? That's a tragedy,
Oh
isn't it?
god! So can we? No. Anyway, when you notice all the YouTube videos are taken down tomorrow, preceding this one, with a slightly different looking bracket.
I
I love
that's
that.
a tragedy.
We didn't get we got 3 wrong. Don't get me wrong. I wanted the Heat to win that series, and I thought the Celtics had a chance, but I didn't think that. I honest to God that the Raptors were gonna fucking win that, and I honest to God didn't think the Bucks were gonna choke that again, but they did.
Yeah, dude. You know what I want?
It should have
I'm
been
gonna
obvious
jump
if
the
the
gun.
Orlando Magic took a game
Yeah.
off them.
Dude, do you know what I want? I want like it's gonna jump the gun ahead. I'm gonna jump ahead a little bit, but like I always want like a Lakers versus Celtics matchup. That would be historical. Like
We'll get there.
you don't know how much that would mean.
We'll
like,
get
to
there.
see that happen.
I do want to take a look at the Nuggets though, just for sake
Yeah,
of
yeah,
consistency. We just talked about the
Go
Lakers
for
for
it.
a while. Let's talk about the
Go
Nuggets
for it.
for a minute. Listen, I think I said everything that I need to say about Jamal Murray already. Can we agree? I've said everything that there is to be said about
Yeah.
Jamal Murray already. The man is playing out of his
Girlfriend
damn mind.
Buff.
He is playing absolutely out of his damn mind right now. He's shooting 49% from 3 on almost 8 attempts a game. That is disgusting.
That's filthy. My man scored 40 in the game 7.
This man averaged 18.5 this season. 18.5. He's averaging 27 in the playoffs.
Yeah.
He
He's
just
taking a step
absolutely
up.
came
He
in
showed
and
up for this team.
he showed up in a big way. He made an announcement that he is here and he is here to stay.
Facts. I think now just because like, I think that first series obviously proved it to me. Like this man can do it all.
And they're kind of getting surprise production out of some of the young guys too. Like obviously he's still young.
Grant, as well.
Yeah,
Gary
Grant
Harris.
is playing well, but I was even looking at Michael Porter Jr. He's a rookie averaging over 10
Oh
points
yes,
in the playoffs.
yeah. You're right.
He's
You're right.
playing well. I mean, he's shooting 37% from 3. He's defensively a little bit of a liability, but offensively he brings a different element to that team that they need sometimes. We've already talked a little bit about everything that Nikola Jokic has been doing.
Paul Millsap. What about him? My guy showed up in third quarter.
35-year-old Paul Millsap was an underrated addition for this team. And I say addition, but like I know this is his 3rd year here, but I'm just saying, like he's a big piece to this team, and I think he's
Well,
kind
it's
of
different.
underrated.
When a guy shows up, like, and who hasn't been showing up, a guy who you expect to, to be there but not necessarily do a whole lot, starts doing a whole lot. It is like getting a whole new addition to your team.
Yeah, exactly.
He's not necessarily putting up insane numbers. He's only averaging just over 8 points this postseason. But I'm gonna keep bringing up floor spacing is huge in today's NBA, and your big is shooting almost 38% from 3. It's gonna force them to play you defensively differently. It's just going to. And when you have a big like Nikola Jokic who can share the basketball, we've seen that. We've seen that he's willing to do that.
He's trusting his teammates, man. Like, double team comes, he knows that there are other people on his team that can shoot it.
And he's shooting 44% from 3 in the playoffs. Like,
if you see his shooting form, I don't know how he pulls off those shots.
Hey, bro, but it's wet though. That shot just wets everything. Everything.
It's just the weirdest thing I've seen.
His shot is wet.
Hey, that's an actual basketball thing. You can mock me all you want. that is the thing that people say.
I trust you. I'm just.
Wait, what does Mark Jackson say? Baba. There goes that man.
Yeah, it is. That is what he says. Bro, I'm waiting. I've missed the bang. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm talking about. Yeah, those. I miss those, man. I miss those. It does suck that they're missing Will Barton. I think that he would be a big wild card, like a defensively. That would be a big addition for them if they could get him back.
He's still gone, right?
He hasn't played this playoffs yet. Which is sad to see. I think Gary Harris came back, right?
He did, and he's doing okay. Like he's getting back into it.
Yeah, he's obviously got to get back into shape. He's averaging 9 points on almost 37% from 3, just under 43% field goal percentage. So, yeah. But Jamal Murray, I think, picked up any slack that was missing from him, like having to try to work his way back. Jamal Murray is proving he's putting the league on notice. Anybody who didn't take the Nuggets seriously, including us, he's reminding us that they are a very good basketball team.
That's the shout out we're gonna get. We're gonna get a shout out at the end of the series. Fuck you, blow up the team. You fucking doubted me.
Oh. Yeah, definitely. We're gonna be the ones he's worried about, right?
No, yeah, because we're the big time. We're the big dogs.
Oh, absolutely.
Listen, it wouldn't be the first time a person in a sport, decides to get angry at one small person who he has no real reason to be angry at, instead of the big dogs. Russell Westbrook.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Wow.
Wow, you're really gonna just out him like that?
You're gonna call him out or that, huh?
Listen, you put me in that fucking game, put me, my 6'4", 350-pound ass on that fucking court, I hit more threes than them. Russell Westbrook. I show up to my fucking. Listen, my RA event this month. It's pickup basketball. Show up to my 3v3. I fucking smoke you.
Oh my god.
I'm gonna die.
I hope he pulls up and just yams one on your head. I really hope he does.
I really would. I'd hope that too. I'd legitimately buy a Westbrook jersey for any team he goes to.
Guys, comments in the section below. Tag Westbrook.
Our one viewer that probably hasn't even made it this far. Tag him.
Our one viewer is going to be a personal friend of Russell Westbrook, and then he's gonna find my number, and I'm gonna die.
Hey, bro, I'll keep an eye on the blow. I'll keep an eye on the blow up the team business email just in case he hits us. You know what I'm saying?
I'm gonna be the guy who randomly fucking said I can beat. I've been playing chess for 2 weeks, and I'm what do you call himself? He called himself an advanced learner, and he decided he can go play Magnus Carlsen and beat him, and then got smoked in 20 moves. Not even.
Nah, I wish you good luck. I'm also gonna say R.I.P.
Yeah, R.I.P. your ankles, boy. He's gonna drop your ass.
I mean, listen, I think that'd be the greatest story of my life. I talked some shit.
Boy, I would hop on a plane so fast, bro. I will be there. I promise you. If he's coming, I will find a way to be there.
Oh god, there was that one thing Jason posted one time. I was like, you want to fight me? No, why not? Because that's over the internet, man. I'm talking shit because it's on the internet.
My god.
I don't know where that came from.
I'm just saying, bro. If Russell Westbrook. We didn't talk about the Rockets that much. We'll mention it really quickly, then get back to the Nuggets, give them their due time because they are the team that's still in the game. The failed experiment, trying to go fully small. The Thunder damn near exposed this team in the first round. They limp themselves out of the first round, steal game 1, think they're hot shit, and then get rolled in for the next 4 games.
No, I still think, dude, no, they can do it. I have full faith in them doing it. It's just the issue of them sticking to one single brand of basketball and just live by a three and die by a three. Like that's
I just
not
don't
gonna
think
work.
Russell Westbrook fits that team. He doesn't shoot the ball well enough.
Yeah, facts. Thank you.
They are better off on that team the way that team is constructed. I am not saying that at this moment in their careers, Russell Westbrook is not a better player than Chris Paul. I'm not saying that. I'm saying that Chris Paul fits the way that team is built to do basketball better. That is what I'm saying. He shoots the ball better. He can share the basketball, and he can still play defense. Russell Westbrook's thriving. He thrives on attacking the rim. You saw what the
He
Lakers
needs
did.
the ball, man. He
They
needs more of the ball.
literally sat there and dared him to shoot the three. It was almost embarrassing, the defense that they played against him, and he could not shoot the basketball.
And he needs his own team. Like, I know he can get triple doubles if he wanted to. Once he has that own team and has the ball, he'll fit in. He'll be more comfortable. And this team, I still felt like, even until after all the season games have been done, and even into the playoff series, he still hasn't found a fit. I don't think he knows where he fits.
24% from three, shooting 4 a game.
Yeah, that's exactly my point.
Like,
it sucks.
I'm sorry. Like, I'm not saying that Chris Paul is a better overall basketball player at this point in his career, but he just, in my opinion, fits this brand of basketball better. And you know, he's gonna get older. He's gonna have to find a way to play because he's got to stop going 100 miles an hour at all times. He has to. His body's not gonna be able to hold up forever. He's starting to rack up some injuries. Man,
he had a couple knee surgeries, so he needs to take that issue easy.
And then James Harden had the weight of the world on his shoulders. He took almost 10 points a game. 10 threes a game.
Right.
He shot 9.8 threes a game this postseason, and he made 1 out of 3 of them, basically.
That team needs some work. I honestly think going into the off season, obviously got rid of Matt D'Antoni.
Mike D'Antoni?
Left. Mike D'Antoni. I was thinking of Matt Forehead. I just combined his name. Mike D'Antoni left. Yeah, and I'm pretty sure they're gonna be making some moves this offseason.
But who else?
That should be interesting.
But who else can run that offense?
No, you need an actual point guard, man.
Now they need to get not even an actual point guard, because you can push James Harden to a point guard and that'll be okay. But you need to find somebody no, I don't think any other coach is ready to coach a team with no big like this.
They need a center. They
had a great one. Clint Capella was a in my opinion top 10, top 15 center in the league, and they just said, we don't need him. He's fine. Allow him to walk.
That's the problem, man. That's the fucking problem.
Something about Houston GMs and throwing away valuable resources.
Here we go. Baseball reference here.
Yeah,
anyway,
no, football reference. DeAndre Hopkins, hello?
True. Football is another day. We'll do football another day. I need to cool off.
I'm just saying.
The resident Eagles fan needs some time to recover. Let's just say that if I didn't not drink alcohol, I would not remember the last 3 days because I was bad on Sunday. Anyways, the Denver Nuggets.
This team has made you an alcoholic.
The Denver Nuggets are a dangerous basketball team. I think if they hadn't already, they have now put the league on notice. They are here and they are here to compete. And I think that the Lakers are just, I hate to meme. Should I meme? Fuck it. They built different. They're built different. Listen, I'm sorry. LeBron James is not Kawhi Leonard. He is not going to blow a 3-1 lead. It's not going to happen.
Yeah.
You cannot, if you are the Nuggets, you cannot allow this team to get a 3-1 lead. It is over. You will not be running a third one. Not against this team. Unless everybody gets hurt. That would be the only way you run it back from 3-1.
Clippers better be watching, man. Better be taking notes.
Honest to God, it will take, I think 3 ACLs to stop that team.
The Nuggets
3 ACL injuries.
If you're a Nuggets fan, I'm telling you right now, this is what you need. You need them to they need to steal this game before the Lakers get any momentum. And I don't mean game 1. I know I said this game. I mean, like, you need to just run them off the floor the first 2 or 3 games of the series. Because if they get to game 4, game 5, and it's a close series, I'm sorry, I do not back the Nuggets in that. I'm sorry.
Oh.
So, we already memed about game 1 LeBron. Plus, the Nuggets. First of all, the Nuggets have got to be tired, man. They've played 14 games over the same span the Lakers have played 10. Got to be exhausted. And, they're going to get an extra day's rest. They don't play until Friday, so they don't have to play on 1 day's rest, which is going to be good for them. If you're a Nuggets fan, you need them to come out and take game 1, and then you need them to take game 2. You need to go up 2-0. If they can tie it, at this point, it's going to become a slugfest, and then it becomes down to firepower. And you definitely can't come back from down 3-1. That's just not going to happen. And if you're a Nuggets fan, you can't afford another 7-game series if you're a Nuggets fan. You can't. The team is, even as young as they are and as good as they are, as talented as they are, and they've put the league on notice this season that they are coming. But you cannot continue to play these 7-game grueling series where your back is against the wall. They're 6-0 already in elimination games. They've played 2 rounds. They're 6-0 in elimination games. Your luck is your quote-unquote luck, and obviously it's not luck. You played your ass off to get to where you are. That's not what I'm saying. But at some point, your luck's got to run out. And if you're a Nuggets fan, you've got to come out and you've got to win convincingly, and you've got to win early. You're not going to win a long series against this team. Have I said anything blasphemous that I need to be attacked for?
No.
I think you're right.
No, I think you're pretty accurate. You're spot on this.
You let this Lakers team get some momentum, get their legs underneath them. They've had a few days now to kick it back and relax. That can go one of 2 ways. Sometimes you can come out, and this is what I'm expecting. I'm expecting the Lakers to come out a little bit flat-footed. Nuggets going to be coming in, riding high after a 7-game series that they upset the Clippers. We've already talked about Game 1 woes for the Lakers this postseason. This playoffs, I think that you've got to come out ready to play. And you cannot allow this Lakers team to get their feet underneath them, because you came back from 3-1 against the Jazz. You were supposed to win that series anyway going into it. Most people would say, so you fought your way back into it. You didn't give up against the Clippers, but you were helped out immensely by terrible performances from Paul George, and then in the final game, Kawhi Leonard as well. So you cannot continue to rely on other teams' misfortune for you to win these series. If you want to win and if you want to be in the NBA Finals playing for that chip, you've got to come out, and you've got to come out strong.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. Can you really expect them to come out strong? We were always do that. We always expect them to do it, but every time, game 1, it's always the same. Lakers blow a lead, and then
listen. I'm not saying just game 1. I don't think winning game 1. I think the Lakers have proven that winning game 1, while important, is not enough. If you want to put this team away, you've got to blitz them. And I'm talking no more than a 5-game series. If you want to beat this team as the Nuggets, you've got to win in 5 games. Because if you allow them to start eking it back in and you can't close them out, especially a young, inexperienced team like the Nuggets have, you start allowing them kind of inch their way into the game, start inching their way into the series, get some momentum behind them. With all the experience on that side, I struggle to pick the Nuggets in an extended series.
Mm-hmm.
That's just me.
I agree with that.
Anyways, we beat the West to hell. We've made our pick. I agree, Lakers in 6. I'm honestly kind of expecting the Nuggets to take 2 out of the first 3, and then the Lakers just run it the back half of the series. That's my opinion.
Interesting, okay.
I think it's going to be a back and forth.
I'm kind of expecting Nuggets game 1, Lakers game 2, Nuggets game 3, and then Lakers the rest of the way out.
Yeah.
That's my expectation.
That is actually my expectation too. I don't want it to be a 3-1. It's partially because of the previous one, so it's going to be maybe 2-2 series tied, and then from there, Lakers just.
I actually would kind of prefer, as a Lakers fan, I almost kind of want them to lose game 1. I'm not going to lie, because I almost think there's almost a false sense of security, especially with the magical run that this Nuggets team has went on to get to where they are. I think that a lot of, there's got to be an underlying want to overlook them and kind of look past them and look forward, but you can't do that. And I think they kind of need that slap in the face to start the series. But we will see. Obviously, you don't want to ever lose a game. That's not what I'm saying, but I am saying that I would rather them win, obviously, but it's got to be a grinder. It's got to be like a really close game that comes down to the wire and it requires some heroics. Because if you come out and you run them out of the stadium, run them out of the gym, game one, and you let your guard. That's what happened to the Clippers. They ran them out of the gym game one because the Nuggets were coming off that Jazz series and were exhausted, and then the Nuggets just refused to go away. They won game two, lost the next two, and then the Clippers just couldn't put them away. The Nuggets just refused to go home. So
that's why it's such a dangerous team, man. I think
they've got some heart, man. You got to give them credit. They got some serious heart.
Yeah.
Anyways,
God, yeah, I can't wait.
Let's head out east. We've got Heat Celtics.
Remind me of the good old days back in 2011. 2012, I think.
Good old days from
when LeBron was in Miami.
Yeah. Well, now it's a completely different team, and now
they're both completely different teams.
Yeah, the question is now, does scrappiness beat talent and depth? Scrappiness being the Heat, and then the talent part comes from the Celtics.
I think it's going to be a good series. I genuinely think it's going to go back and forth. Both of these teams have young pieces led by a kind of a veteran guy. Now, the difference between Kemba Walker and Jimmy Butler, I think Jimmy Butler's kind of been around the block, per se, in the playoffs more than Kemba has. Kemba, I don't think, has ever made it this far. He was unfortunately stuck in Charlotte for a lot of years. Whereas Jimmy Butler, he's been around the league a little bit. He's made a couple of playoff runs. But I think this is going to be a grinder of a series. I really do.
Yeah, because you saw first game, man. First game, we saw Jimmy and the rest of the team really play excellent defense. Superb, spot on. Like double teaming as soon as Kemba was crossing the court. Making sure whenever they have to switch to a different person, like they're doing it. They're communicating well. Like that sort of camaraderie and chemistry goes a long way. I think that'll carry them. But in terms of talent, in terms of who's going to be a better player, I think Jason Tatum is overall going to be able to lead this team, the Celtics, to eventually take over the Heat. Like it's going to be a slugfest.
I do want to bring up, I don't know, Matt.
Jason Tatum had like moments of don't get me wrong. Like I know that the Heat were able to shut down Kemba Walker, right? Like I know that, right? Or who did they shut down?
Kemba.
Yeah, they shut down Kemba, but like even Kemba had his moments. Like those three were playing together really, really well, and like that game. Don't get me wrong, it was close because a mixture of not just Celtics playing really well, but also Miami having a horrible third quarter and beginning of the fourth quarter. Both those teams, like, just looked geared up to go the fucking distance. Look like they're ready to have close games no matter what the fucking number of games are.
I've got to say, I want to jump in. I want to say two things. One, we want to talk about Jimmy Butler really quickly. He isn't shooting a high volume of threes. He's only shooting about 2 a game. But the man who is told, like everybody's been saying, he's not a great 3-point shooter, whatever. He's shooting over 50% from 3 this postseason. In the playoffs, he's shooting 52 attempts per game, but he's shooting 52% from 3.
Okay.
He's not shooting a high volume.
Dude, that's the same thing we said about AD, right? He's doing 2 or 3 point attempts, like roughly, right?
Yeah, and he's not shooting them a lot. But if he continues to make them at a high clip, even if he's not shooting them a lot, he's gonna force teams to guard him on the perimeter. He's not a liability out there in the way that he was last year. He shot in the playoffs last year. He shot less than 27% from 3. Right.
Just down during clutch time. Oh my God! But Jimmy can.
He demands the ball.
Perform.
He demands the ball, and he's a sight to behold when he has the ball in his hands.
I would trust him because his mentality is, I would say, Kobe-like. I mean, if we were gonna compare,
I'm not sure I would go that far.
I mean, no, but I say Kobe-like, right?
I would say
not exactly
I
Kobe.
guess in pieces of it is, yeah. But the other player I want to highlight, and it's actually for the Celtics, and I remember saying it. I don't know, Sai, if you were on that episode or not. I was telling you guys about Jaylen Brown. I was telling everybody that was listening.
I was.
To listen out for Jaylen Brown. He is almost averaging 21 points this playoffs, and he is showing exactly what I was expecting him to show. That he can be and is a very valuable piece to this Boston Celtics team. I don't know where that accent just came from just now, but it's fine.
Yeah, but that's the thing. Like, he's only showing up because of the fact that Kemba's not showing up. Like, it's a push and pull thing, right? As soon as Kemba starts to find his rhythm, hopefully he does. I mean, you can see like Jaylen Brown's numbers starting to go down.
I mean, Kemba's averaging almost 20 himself. It's not like he's not doing anything.
Like, nah, just Kemba, man. Right now I'm worried about Kemba because he's the wild card. He is the wild card on that team. Because like he's like a decoy. People are drawn to him, but like
he made a couple. Let's not forget he made a couple big shots in that Raptors series.
He did, but like, come on, like overall in that series, like he was a no-show.
I mean, I'm not going to tell you. You're allowed to have your opinion. I think he did what he needed to do in that series. I think he's not going to be the guy. He's not here to lead this team in scoring. That's not what he's here for.
Yeah.
He's here to help them be that closer. He's here to be that extra threat. And he made multiple big shots down the stretches of games for that Celtics team.
Okay.
Like it might have been Jason. Like I'm looking at Game 7, right? Celtics Raptors, low scoring game, defensive slugfest, a little bit of jitters on both sides. Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown were the two big hitters, right? We're talking 29-21 from the pair of them. Kemba Walker only had 14, but they were important shots, like pace setters for that team. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, obviously you want to see him shoot better than 5 of 16. That's not ideal, but if he just continues to make those shots in those clutch moments when they really need him to step up, he's kind of doing his job. He's not here to lead this team, and he's not here to dominate the basketball and do what he did in Charlotte and lead this team in scoring every night. That's what Jason Tatum is there for.
I still need him to improve. I still need to see some improvement. If the Celtics really want to blow to the heat or the water, like Kemba needs to show up.
I almost think Marcus Smart is my wild card.
Marcus Smart,
great defense. His offense leaves a lot to be.
He had, I don't remember what game it was, but I'm gonna go find it. Was it the third game? Or were you saying something?
Of the Raptors?
Game 6, double overtime. He shot 6 of 11 from 3 that game, put up 23 points. I don't know if that's the game I was talking about. There was one game that he just absolutely took over. Yeah, like there was a stretch during one of these games, and I'm going to find it. You guys can continue talking, and I'm gonna look kind of over here on my second screen, but there was one of those games that there was a stretch when it just seemed like everything that he did, every ball that he touched, found a way to find the bottom of the net.
I think it was.
It might have been that stretch in Game 6. It might have been.
Let me double check that one.
I'm checking now as well. But if he
had 23,
you know what you're gonna get from him on the defensive side of the basketball. You know what you're gonna get from him.
That's a given.
Absolutely. But if he can produce offensively at all, if he can just be even an off the dribble threat, like just something, provide something offensively, this team looks different.
Yeah, but once again, there was that one game, but that's exactly it. It's one game. Like, I've watched a lot of Celtics
There's
games
two.
this
He
year
went.
because,
I'm sorry.
like, living up here. But literally, like, he consistently getting 15, 20 minutes plus with, like, sometimes no points, usually, like, under not even 10. Like,
in the Raptors series, he put up at least 10 in every game, unless I'm, like, tripping.
No, he's right.
Game 1, he put up 21 on 5 of 9 from 3. Game 2, I was just talking about. He went 6 of 11 from 3 on that game as well. He put up 19. So he's showing that he can take that step up. He's not going to light up the scoreboard every night. He's not going to carry the load. It's not what I'm saying. But if he can be consistent, you can't have a Game 3 performance from him when he shoots 4 of 15 from the field and hits 11 points. You're not going to win a lot of games when he shoots the ball like that. Because he gets too many minutes because he's too valuable defensively for him not to get minutes. And I'm seeing a clear-cut thing here, right? They lost games 3 and 4. Game 3, he had 11 points. Game 4, he had 8 points. They lost both of those games. The other 2 games, he was in the upper teens and in 20, and they won. And I'm not saying that he's the reason of that, but he just provides something for that offense that they need.
He's a definite like absolute necessary piece of the Celtics. Otherwise, the Celtics wouldn't be running properly. Like, sure, they have Jason Tatum.
Even if he doesn't put up a bunch of points, like even if he doesn't take a lot of shots,
Offense doesn't matter at that point. Like, you need defense, and
he just needs to be efficient with whatever he does. He needs to be efficient, right? If he shoots 4 of 8, you're okay with that because he made 50% of his shots. He didn't take a lot of them, but he made the ones that he was taking. You're okay with that. You can't have those like 4 of 15 shooting performances. It can't happen.
Yeah, no, I agree completely on that. That is just like...
He is defensively too valuable to sit because defensively what he brings, you know he's a dog. You know he's going to come in there and he's going to fight every night. So he's way too valuable to be left off the court in those high-pressure situations because defensively you know what he's going to bring, especially against that Raptors team where their guards like to get a lot of things going for them. But you need him.
He's playing 30-plus minutes every time.
Absolutely. And you need him to be efficient. As long as he's efficient, you will at least be in the basketball game. But if he's going to shoot 3 of 11, like, you can't have that happen. Anyways, that's my Marcus Smart rant. I really do like Marcus Smart as a player. He brings a different element. And I think that if he can become just efficient, you don't need him to be putting up big numbers, but if you can just make a decent clip of the shots that he's taking, he brings a different element. Because then you can run an absolute defensive juggernaut of a lineup and not really lose anything offensively.
Because he's starting to show that in this one game, where, game 1, he scored 26 points.
Yeah, exactly.
So like it's showing signs of it. And like
that's all
Matt
you need.
said it before.
That's all you need.
He said like it's just one game or a couple of games where he's showing that, like that brief, like, okay, like he's being efficient, he's scoring very well, but I don't know about being like. I don't know if consistency wise, he may not be able to do that. Or might not be able to achieve it every game.
He doesn't need to do it every game though. My point is so I'm calling him my wild card because of the fact that he's not going to do that every game, right? Like Jaylen Brown, he's going to show up. Jason Tatum's going to show up. Kemba Walker is going to have nights where he shoots the ball inefficiently, but when it's crunch time, he's there. He's going to be the leader of that team. Even if he's not knocking down his shots, he's the leader of that team. He's got the experience. He's got the way about him. But if you can get another guy like hot on any given night, and this team has got a few guys that can get hot, right? We've already talked about what Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, and Kemba can bring. But if you can, if 2 or 3 games out of the series, Marcus Smart can just be efficient. I'm not saying light up the scoreboard. I'm not saying he needs 20 plus, but if he can just be efficient defensively, that team when you can run Marcus Smart and Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum, and Daniel Tice is relatively defensively sound, right? All of a sudden, your defensive lineup it looks kind of scary to go up against. And if you don't have that big of a drop off, obviously if you're running Kemba with that lineup, that's maybe not ideal, right? But if you have 4 other guys that are willing to step up and make plays around him on the defensive side of the basketball, he's gonna give you effort. I think that this Celtics team can run a very, very scary team out there.
They could. That's the thing. Like,
we're looking at the Heat. The Heat are the same way.
No, but like I could see like Celtics have a slight advantage over the Heat in the regard of like terms of like defense and offense, clear winner. I think Celtics will surpass the Heat in that regard.
Well, let's talk about the Heat now then, if you're ready. Unless you have another Celtics note.
No. I want to talk about the Heat because of it's because of not just Jimmy Butler, but Tyler Hero.
Tyler Hero is playing his ass off.
Yeah.
He has showed up.
I don't know.
He's only putting up 14.5 points, but he's shooting 40% from 3. Right?
Yeah.
He's here. He's as a rookie.
Have you seen
20 years old
his clutch play against the Bucks?
Yeah. He was there. He was the closer in some of those games. There were some times when they would give him the ball and they would just say figure it out, and he would figure it out.
Yeah, he would be moving the ball on his own. Like he'll be going off the ball, moving around, trying to find an open shot. Catches the ball, shoots it, pops it, makes it. And then if he's guarding someone, he'll take it, like no problem. Like he's a very motivated player.
And
He's
then
willing
the
to do
same thing with
anything
Duncan
despite
Robinson.
being like.
Duncan Robinson shooting, 44.5%. He's hitting about 14 a game. Not 14
Those two
threes,
are
14 points.
solid, like 3-point specialists. Like, if you wanted them to shoot a three, or if you want them to shoot at all, I mean, if you want 3-point shooting, you go to those two. Essentially.
Yeah, it is notable that in the postseason, Duncan Robinson's not doing his best work from behind the 3-point line. He's taking almost 7 a game, and he's making 38%, which is not terrible. But I mean, we've seen him shoot the ball better than that. But Bam Adebayo for me has been the rock that this team needs down low.
Yeah, no, for sure. Like, you can say that again. I mean, my man, like that defensive play at the end of game one, really emphasized the fact that he is a really cornerstone of that team. Just being on there defensively, providing that energy for the Heat, going down in the clutch, like is badly needed. And without that block, without that defensive play, like the Celtics would have been up by now. So kudos to him. He's gonna be a great center for the Heat. Already better than Hassan Whiteside, at least. Yeah.
Goran Dragic is scoring the basketball well at the point guard position.
He's doing solid. He's doing a solid job.
He's getting his 22 buckets. He's getting his 22 points a game. You can't complain about that. And he's scoring efficiently. He's shooting 39% from three, almost just over 47% from the field. He's doing it efficiently. That's the key for this whole Heat's team. Honestly, if you want to go through, they're all playing very efficient basketball right now in the playoffs.
The Heat surprised me. Not as much as the Nuggets, but like here is showing up and surprising a lot of people right now. First, after beating the Bucks 4-1, and now being able to compete head to head with the Boston Celtics. So
yeah,
it's
absolutely.
gonna be very
and Jay Crowder, ex Celtic, had himself a night. 7 of 11 from the field, 5 of 9 from 3, 22 points. If you're gonna get that from Jay Crowder,
bro, it's a comeback from Jay Crowder, man.
If you're gonna get that from Jay Crowder, this is a dangerous basketball team. He is shooting for his career he is a 34% 3-point shooter for his career. 34% from 3. This postseason, he is shooting almost 42% from 3 on 8.4 attempts a game. Who is this man? And what did he do with Jay Crowder?
Bro, I just like now because like they're generating offense for him. Like, he doesn't have to have the ball at all anymore. Set screens, goes for a pick and pop, and then boom, he's open. It's very, very efficient basketball from them, from the Heat. And honestly, like this series is gonna be as competitive as hell.
It is a beautiful to watch these two teams play basketball because they both have so many guys that can get it done offensively that they share the ball so well.
Yeah, man. Like it's not that often that you see like I'm gonna be honest here. Like is that you can see like an Eastern Conference playoff series be exciting. For like it was like a couple times where I saw that, but like not as much as like this year.
Well, yeah, it wasn't supposed to be exciting, and then
now like
it was.
First the Celtics Raptors, and now it's gonna be the Heat versus Celtics. So like now like people are gonna be more tuned in. Pressure's on. There's gonna be a lot of grit in the series. So it's very interesting to see what happens with the Celtics when they change their mindset a bit. Just to make a few adjustments.
I do think both of these teams have a very legitimate chance to win this series, but I think we're back. Well, let's go ahead and pick, and then we'll get to the finals matchup, and then we should probably wrap this up. It's already a very long video. Heat Celtics. I think it's a 7-game series. I think it's a slugfest, and then they go back and forth a little bit. What do you guys think?
Celtics and 7.
I think it could be.
Celtics and 7.
Matt, do you have an opinion before I weigh in?
I mean, listen, the logic. Once again, this is nothing like the opinion of looking at lineups and looking at, everything, I think the Celtics should be winning the series. From who I've watched and enjoyed more this playoffs, I want the Heat to win it just for storyline's sake. But, I think either way, I'm not upset with who wins this. I think this is going to be a very evenly paced matchup.
Jeremy, when is Hayward coming back?
That is a good point. I was thinking about that earlier.
Oh, yeah.
I haven't heard anything about him. I quickly looked.
Because then I'm putting them, if he comes in the middle of the series.
It's looking like he could. He's officially listed as doubtful for Game 2, which means that he has a chance to play. And even though he likely won't play, he's making progress towards getting back on the floor.
Okay, so then it could be up there. I'm still saying Celtics, either regardless of whether Hayward comes in or not. It's just because of just overall that team. If I were to think of a championship caliber team, sure, defense wins it all, but you also need balance.
CBS Sports 5 hours ago. CBS Sports 5 hours ago officially marks Gordon Hayward as doubtful for Game 2, but is expected back during the Heat series.
Damn. Celtics.
It does not say what game they would expect him back, but it does say.
Jeremy, what do you think?
Did you guys think we're going to be barreling towards a Lakers Celtics final?
Yes, dude.
I do think that there's storylines. Regardless of if the Lakers make it, regardless of which East team makes it, there's a storyline there, which is interesting, right? If the Lakers make it and the Heat get there, it's Pat Riley, and the Heat team that LeBron first went and won against LeBron. He's moving on to another team. He's got to go beat them in the finals now, right? That's a storyline. And then if you want to look at the Celtics, I mean, you don't have to look very far. Lakers Celtics is the NBA rivalry. I don't know. I think it could genuinely depend on one toss-up play, one 50-50 play. The other thing I am going to quickly say about Gordon Hayward, just because I'm reading this on the side, it does say that there is a potential that he could have to leave the bubble because his wife is expecting to give birth to their 4th child sometime in the.
He has 4 children?
Well, this will be his 4th child.
Yeah.
I know, but still. Gordon Hayward has 4 children? I swear to God. I know he's 30 years old, but still.
He should be able to finish the series if he does come back.
But you also got to worry about what kind of shape is he going to be in.
That's the thing. He could have a negative impact on this team, but
here you go, Matt. This is his family.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
you can't do that.
I just don't imagine a guy who's 30 years old and streams League of Legends on Twitch to have 4 kids. Also, pro NBA player. So just
hey, don't worry about him, bro. He's vibing,
Let him
bro.
be.
Let him be.
Let
Allow
him
it.
be.
Allow it.
Oh no! Listen, good for him. I just was not expecting it.
I don't know. I think it's gonna be a close series. I think it's gonna come down to one toss-up play, in Game 7, and I have a hard time picking against the Celtics, man. I think they find a way to get it done.
You've been going with it for this whole thing. You
can flip a coin. Flip a coin, and then.
I mean, I do have coins here I could flip, but I'm gonna go with my gut. I'm gonna go with the Celtics, and then we got the classic Celtics Lakers. I don't want to spend too much time on this matchup because it's not a guaranteed matchup.
But if it does happen, what I do think is, there's what you mentioned before, the story behind, whatever happens, either if the Celtics come in or the Heat come in. It's all matter about the superstar power now, right? The team cohesively, I would say the Lakers have the talent, they have the defense, they're a solid team overall. So the Celtics are talented, yes, but in terms of scoring, in terms of defense, the Lakers will top both of those categories. So I'm gonna say Lakers in 6. I mean, maybe 5. I don't know if that's very controversial, but hopefully it's not. I'm gonna say 5 or 6.
The thing is that they're both ridiculously good teams. It just so happens that once again, LeBron. Davis.
LeBron,
And
bro.
yeah, just like you just say LeBron. Like that is the peak difference here. It's like you take LeBron out of this team and replace him with, I don't know, literally any other top 20 player. Like, no, that's going to be a much closer series. But still, once again, not much worth talking about until it's set in stone.
Yeah, I think
Because we could end up with Nuggets Heat, and we'll look like even bigger idiots. And then maybe we should just stop doing basketball videos.
I
But,
think I don't I don't know if I'll be able to get myself out of my depressive state to come on here and talk if the Lakers lose. I'm not gonna lie.
I mean, we're not gonna be. I wouldn't say we're gonna be called idiots. It's just like what is expected. Like, you look at the team, look at the roster, look at the stats.
We're not saying exactly controversial things here.
Yeah, we're not. But just like if that happens, we're just gonna be like, oh well, like whatever. Like we'll just give up. All right, we'll give up. The finals, we're just gonna predict whatever we think opposite. Okay.
We'll predict one game at a time after the game has already been played.
Okay. Yeah.
Anyways, I think that not to get too much into it, I'm not gonna get into matchups. I'm not gonna pull stats. I'm gonna stick with the Lakers in 6. I don't built different. Like that's all I gotta say. Built different. I think that about sums it up. Does anybody have any final closing statements, any shout outs, any complaining, ranting, anything that they want to do before we go ahead and close this video out?
Oh, we're good. I think we summed it up pretty well. It's going to be exciting 2 series here, and let's see what happens. Let's see the finals matchup.
All right. Well, then I guess with all that being said, Matt, when are you doing your baseball check-in, kid? You done being depressed about the Yankees 20-game skid, and then they're turning it around now, so you can do a video?
I would have done a video. Listen, if I did a video during, I would have to. I like in addition to having to play like Marcus Smart, it's fucking Russell Westbrook. I'd have to I don't know. I'd have to play baseball against a lot of very good people. So I'm glad.
That's fair.
I don't know. I can probably this weekend. Well, definitely by this weekend. I have no time until the weekend, until Friday.
Word.
By 5.
Alrighty.
Because I also decided let's do student government.
Ah, this kid. Alrighty. So then keep an eye out for that. He's gonna have his baseball thing at some point. I'll get my head out of my ass and we'll do a football video. Probably after the Eagles' first win, and then my depressive state will subside long enough to start this.
It's like I told this game, this football season just totally snuck up on me. I'm like, yeah, baseball, yeah, basketball. Wait, there's football on? Like, just didn't totally did not even think about it.
I had every intention of making like a week 1 wrap up kind of a thing, and then the Eagles did what the Eagles did, and I was in a depression state for 3 days.
I don't even know what happened. I just know that no Eagles fan wants to talk about it.
I will give you a quick sum up.
I asked how the Eagles did, and he looked like he was going to kill me, and I've never seen this guy look angry before. Like,
let's just say this.
Talking to, I heard like another Eagles fan talking about it. It's like, listen, I've never, I'm pretty level-headed when it comes to sports. I've actually wanted to drink last night. Bro, it's week 1.
Well, let's end this video. We'll chat after. How about that? Anyways, if you somehow made it to this far through our ridiculous rambling, we appreciate you. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Join our Discord. It's going to be linked in the description down below, so come say hi. Let us know what you want to see from us, hear from us. Feel free to just chat about whatever. We're pretty open. Sai doesn't check it too often, but Matt and I are on here all the time.
Yeah.
Sorry
about that.
It's not his thing. He's doing us a favor by being here. So, not his thing. But Matt and I will definitely respond. Again, I'm going to link the link to that highlight video that I played in the beginning down in the description below. So check that out as well. I'm going to probably continue to put our Instagram and Twitter in there, even though we don't use them, because I copy and paste the same description for just about every video. #lazy. Anyways, with that being said, I'll try to be consistent, and we will try to come back next week at some point with some kind of an NBA check-in if we can get around to it. And like I said, keep an eye out for Matt's baseball check-in. With that being said, I've rambled on for long enough, so fuck it. Peace.